Contestant number 3, Gary Hammond. Gary Hammond, contestant number 3.
As a lifelong Star Trek fan, I appreciated being taken on a journey by a speaker who has never spoken at division contest before. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our tour guide across the universe. Annette, where are you? Warp speed, right there. What a wonderful speech. There were a lot of elements of your speech I really enjoyed. Your voice was strong, it was powerful. Scotty would be envious. Your structure, I thought, was great, especially at the beginning where you picked up the theme of our meeting, to boldly go where no man has gone before, and then you invited all the audience to join you. I thought that was a great gesture. And then you closed your speech with that same theme, so it tied it all together. There are a couple of elements I want to talk about in your speech, and the first is your use of gestures to make your points, and also your use of the stage. And the other is your use of stories, which you got from Star Trek. First, in your use of the stage. If Captain Kirk can explore the entire universe, I think that perhaps you could make use of the entire stage. A little bit over here for one story, for example, and then when you move on to the next character, show us the structure of your speech by moving to a different area of the stage. Your gestures, I thought, were very good and appropriate at times when you were contrasting, one, the logic with the emotion on the other hand. So you did very well there. But you might even do that with the stage. Logic over here and exemplify Spock. And then come over to this side of the stage and talk about emotion for a little while. Next, I want to talk about your use of stories. There are a lot of Star Trek characters. Now, I knew most of them because I've watched a lot of the Star Trek series, but I didn't know all of them that you talked about. I would have liked a little bit more detail on some of the characters. When you talk about Q, well, who's Q? Somebody who's just familiar with the original series, I think, might not know all that. So if you could give a one-line definition. The other element is I think that you perhaps tried to cover a little bit too many characters. If you could have chosen maybe 3 characters, Spock, somebody, Worf, or one of the other characters from later, maybe Deanna, and give some more details about each one of those characters. Give an entire story about how they exemplify the aspect that you're trying to talk about instead of just saying that Spock exemplified logic. You could give us a story, short story from Star Trek that showed how he exemplified logic. And maybe contrast that with Captain Kirk and give us a story perhaps about the time they played chess and how Captain Kirk always won, even though Spock had the logic. So in summary, very good voice, very strong eye contact throughout, and good gestures, but I would think maybe using the stage a little bit more would help, making your gestures a little bit broader, and then take a lot of stories and reduce it down to 3 important stories. You did a great job speaking. May you speak long and prosper.